COVID-19 vaccine rollout could mean a return to the workplace.
Real dilemma that employers are going to find themselves in.
Joseph Haddad is an employment attorney in Portland. He said under Oregon law, most employers can require staff be vaccinated for this deadly disease.
For people who say refuse, what sort of ramifications can there be?
Termination certainly could be an option.
We really need to get a critical mass of people in the country vaccinated.
United Airlines CEO Scott Kirby says corporate America should make employee vaccinations mandatory.
Because that's the only way we get back to normal.
But in Oregon, there are some big group exceptions.
Healthcare professionals, firefighters, police officers.
Ironically, fields where we're seeing higher exposure and risk of COVID-19. This includes corrections workers in prisons, where Oregon's biggest workplace outbreaks are. Also exempt are many unionized employees, like teachers. Governor Kate Brown prioritized educators over seniors, specifically to get kids back in school.
Distance learning is taking a real toll on our kids. They need to see the inside of a classroom before the school year gets out.
But getting vaccinated may not be the deciding factor. For example, the Beaverton School District encourages all staff to get vaccinated, but a spokesperson said having the vaccine or not will not be a consideration for placing a teacher in a classroom. She added laws prevent the district from even asking if staff got the vaccine. Last, people with certain conditions or disabilities can be exempt, along with people who have religious objections. That puts some employers in a tricky spot.
If you are not requiring vaccines and they are available, are you putting the rest of your employees in harm's way?
Joseph Haddad says it's on employers to make up the difference. If staff refuse vaccination, then employers can require people work remotely or follow stricter safety protocols with masks and protective gear.
There is a difference between what may appear to be unfair or wrong and what may be unlawful.
Galen Ettlin, KGW News.